Here in California, students serve on the governing boards of roughly 325 high school PTAs. But as students, we must ask ourselves, why not all of them? Here to help mobilize on this issue is Kathryn Rickard, a student at San Ramon Valley High School in the 32nd District PTA. She is a graduate of Ed100.org, so shout out to her for that, and a member of the Board of Managers of the California State PTA. This year, she hopes to lead the effort in getting more students in positions like hers. Together with her today is Shereen Walter, the incoming president-elect of California State PTA, where she currently serves as the Director of Legislation. Kathryn and Shereen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathryn Rickard, one of the students on California State PTA Board of Managers. I currently serve as the Student Involvement Committee Chair at my high school. So student involvement is something that's very important to me. And today I'm introducing California State PTA as an opportunity for students to come together and have our voices heard. California State PTA's mission is to positively impact the lives of all children and families. PTA is important because we advocate for laws that protect youth, promote welfare for children, and engage the public in an effort to maintain and raise physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social well-being for all youth and children. California State PTA is a strong organization, and we need to amplify student voices so that we can become even stronger.
So Shereen Walter here, and I wanted to follow up with what Kathryn's saying, which is that one of the important things that PTA can do is amplify student voices by having students be part of our organization. And our organization is structured that we have what we call units, and that is at every school site. And the thing about those units is they can be a PTA or a PTSA, but a PTA doesn't mean that students can't be on the board. So it's not necessary that a school PTA be a PTSA in order for students to be involved. So first thing is I would encourage all students to talk to your local PTA leaders and see if you can become involved in being a board member. But our structure is then the next level is what we call a council, and that council level is often equivalent to a school district. And then we have a district, which ironically is a little bit equivalent to the county. And then we all roll up into state PTA, and all states roll up into national PTA. So that's a little bit about our structure. And it's just really important that everybody understand that just because the name is PTA at your school doesn't mean that we're not interested in student voices or that a student can't be involved. So let's go back to Kathryn to talk about her idea of a student network of PTSAs.
Okay, so in order to amplify California students' voices, we need to connect student leaders in PTA, which is why for the first time ever, we are planning on instituting an informal student network for high school PTSA leaders. Student voices in our organization are necessary in order to have truth behind our slogan, every child, one voice. With this new network, students have an opportunity to share so much new insight to California State PTA. We will discuss issues and be sure that they are addressed statewide and advocate for our beliefs.
And here's some of the things that PTSA can bring to students. So from a perspective of you students, PTA offers senior scholarships for students who are graduating and going on to college. We offer training, job training for all the positions within PTA. We can offer job shadowing, and the idea would be that there be an intentional succession of leadership. In other words, if you happen to be the student involvement chair or the advocacy person at your local district, you would then be training the person who is going to take your job in the next year, because as with parents, students also have a trajectory into a school and then out of a school. Other roles that students can play, or roles that students can play in their local school PTA, is being a PTA officer or a PTSA officer. And that could be any office. In my high school PTA, I was a co-advocacy chair with a student, and that gave the student an opportunity to learn that position, which was something that I was very familiar with. Students can help develop plans, activities, events, and programs that a PTA puts on in their school, because you guys are the ones who know what you want, what's going to be valuable in your school. You can seek input from all students or other students on the campus, and you can also help the PTA to partner with other organizations. So Kathryn, tell us a little bit about your vision of this informal group of PTSA leaders.
My vision is that every high school in California should have a PTA, but more preferably a PTSA, an informal network of PTSA and PTA student leaders that come together and talk about student issues in a relaxed manner once a month. I also want to get all students involved in PTA to talk to their local leaders and ask about ways that they can get involved there. Once we have informed students, we can obtain even more success as a student network.
Awesome. Kathryn. So what do we need you guys to do? So students who are here at the Academy, what we need you to do is when you fill out your closing survey this afternoon, you'll have a chance to opt in to get communications from us about this project. If you are part of a school PTA, please check the box that says opt in. That way we can send you an email and keep you in the loop about the formation of this informal group of PTA leaders, student leaders who would talk every month or every other month. On the closing survey, you'll also have a chance to rank PTA as one of your top 4 choices to connect with. And if you do that, we're going to interpret that to mean that you want to roll up your sleeves and help Kathryn as a member of the team to explore and sort of flesh out this formation of this new group for us. We currently expect that Kathryn is going to send out an invitation to join her on June 29th at 2:30 p.m. via Zoom. So those of you that fill out your survey and mark that you're interested in PTA, she'll be sending you out that Zoom link so that you need to be available during that day and time. And after the kickoff, we really don't think that you're going to be meeting for more than once every month or every other month. So we'll be setting those dates together as a group and talking about what we can do to make sure student voices are heard. But forming the group and making sure that our student leaders are able to connect with one another from all the various PTAs in the state is the objective of Kathryn's vision. So Kathryn, do you want to add anything else before we turn it over to Zaid for questions?
I think you've got it, Shereen. It's just an informal network of students discussing issues that are important to us because student voices are the most important voices in PTA.
Awesome. Agreed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kathryn and Shereen, for your guys' presentation and for kind of teaching us a little bit more about PTSA. We definitely have some questions. And the first one is PTA or PTSA for college students as well?
Ironically, no. The space for PTA generally is from what we call TK to 12th grade. PTA would love to be involved at the college level, but we also have bandwidth issues, which I know a lot of organizations do. So we really try to stay within that TK to 12th grade space.
Awesome. And then really quickly, how did the idea of creating a student network of PTA leaders or PTSA leaders get started?
So as a student involvement chair at my own unit, I realized that at state level, we don't have enough student voices. We need to amplify every student's voice and their beliefs and thoughts. And before I was a California State PTA Board of Manager, I didn't feel like my voice was being heard necessarily. And I think my main goal being on the board is to let every student know that they have a chance of their voice being heard at state level.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kathryn. And then really quickly, what is the desired outcome of creating this student network, and how does this coalition kind of make it possible?
I think Kathryn's desired outcome is really to create a network where student leaders, because every PTA is going to be made up then of parents and of student leaders. And the idea that Kathryn had was to really band the students together from up and down the state so that they can talk about what they're doing in their local school or their local unit and hear about what's happening at the state level and find some synergy and some ways of really connecting and expanding expanding on what the students can contribute to have their voices heard. Because PTA is first and foremost an advocacy organization, and that's what we do, is we speak up on behalf of children and families, and that's why the student's voice is such an important part of that. So Kathryn, do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so the most important part of this is representation. I want equal representation across the state, and that's why I want the statewide network of students.
Awesome. Well, we definitely have some more questions left, but unfortunately we're running short on time. So Kathryn and Shereen, it's just been a splendid pleasure to have you guys here and to hear a little bit more about PTSA. And I'd just like to encourage everyone who's interested in joining PTSA or PTA to fill out and rank them highly on your form. But thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.